Welcome to another ride with the Everyday Zwifter. This is ZRL round 1, race 2. And it's a Makiri 40 kilometres, actually 41 kilometres this race. It's Cat C, it's a point race. It's got 5 sprints, featuring fastest across the line and fastest through the segment. And it's going to be hard. So as we head off out of the gate, we turn the corner. It's pretty much flat out from the start, and as you can see on the mini map, it's starting, well, you can see that gate up on the hill. We go up, and this is always going to be a challenge for me because my it's about a 4-minute climb, and my 3.5 for the fast guys, and my 3.5 to 5 minute power is not so good. But as we go along here, I see I'm with H. Henry, so I'm thinking that's a pretty good spot to be, and I'm not too far off the front, so I'm happy with my positioning so far. And somewhere along here I get a little distracted and I drop my power for only a second or two, and then all of a sudden I've dropped 20 places, which is a big no-no. Still in the main group though. It's coming up to a little flat spot here. We're going to try and maintain or improve position before we hit the next incline. My main focus coming into this race was going to be the sprint segments. And if I could get to the top of this group, then I would have a good shot at a lot of draft and some good times in those sprints. But I got to get to the top. Feeling good here, surrounded by teammates, although I think I'm starting to drop back a little bit. And everyone seems to be going past me and not the other way around. So not too encouraging, but I'm sitting in the red. That's all I can do. Try and get to the top with some sort of any group around me. Team kept telling us before the start, if you get dropped, just find a group, the front will slow and you'll catch up. So I'm right, okay, I might catch up. Still got hope here. Continuous line of people. I'm pushing on, trying to stay on the back of the front group. But then all of a sudden, start seeing bigger and bigger gaps. Pushing on, trying to catch any little draft I can get. I get up to Mr. Box here. I think, no, that gap is too big. I am done. I look at the mini map and go, now, and I think, oh, well, I'm just about at the top. I should have pushed on a bit harder, but when I thought I was done, then Mr. Atkinson comes past, my teammate. Oh, thank goodness for that. I've got a wheel to follow. So I'm re-motivated to push on. I'm not going for any sort of sprint here, we're just going. 6 to 8 seconds to the next person in front, so it's going to be a bit of a chase. Hopefully they're not too fast. That's the first sprint segment. Well done, AERO. We're getting first place. So this is about the worst of it for me. Position 41 and well off any sort of groups. So fast forward a bit, we've got Mr. Box, Miss Atkinson, and off we go. We're in pursuit. And there's another 3 behind, and we're hoping, although it wasn't in my mind, I was just looking forward, that we might come together as some sort of group. So I've caught one. And for one reason or another, this part of the ride turns out to be one big sweeping segment. We've got those 3 riders behind now coming up, so now a group of 7. Got a bit more power, a bit more momentum, and we're feeling a bit more refreshed. And all of a sudden, Jamie's gone. He's had a drop out, but he's got me to a group. And they're pretty keen to catch the next lot of riders in front. So I thought, since I've got 2 teammates there, I'm going to push up and close that gap as well. Because at 7.2 kilometres, we've got the country sprint. And this is one I am targeting because it's short and it's downhill, and I just like it. So I'm assuming the position at the back, set up for plenty of draft. Got my trigger button primed. You can see we've already taken first place. And go position is at the fence. Here we go. Maximum. Hit the AERO. This one felt really good, and you can see the numbers on the side. It cranked up to 14.7 watts a kilogram. Powered through the group. Finished a little bit early and took out 2nd position. And I kept looking across and going, 2nd? Really? There's a whole lot. So I was pretty stoked with that, and I was able to contribute to the team points in that way. I've seen an article before the race whether or not the Tron had been nerfed in one of the updates, but I don't think so. Went pretty well. So well done, Gary, for taking that one out from Aerobics. Now we're on to the next one. Gonna do a bit of cross-country touring. Get some refreshment back into the legs as we head into Nyokio. Group comes back together. Bit of chat going on. Sprinter's going to sprint, and I say every time. Box says we lost 10 seconds, but I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Catch up to another AERO rider. And then, as we get closer to town, AHDR are pretty keen to push on. And I'm looking at the gap of like 19 seconds. And I wasn't sure that was possible. People kept pushing, and the gap kept coming down. And it's down to 15 seconds. So I thought, well, if we can catch that group before the next lot of sprints, that's good for me, because I'll get more draft. Box says, AERO, could you pull a pint? I didn't get it at the time, but I get it now. Pull a pint. Sorry, no drinking on this ride. D's like, no. Made me laugh. I thought, I'll have a crack. See if we can close up a bit. But the thanks I get from AHDRs when I pull back to let them have a go. They just put the hammer down and off they go. No one's willing to close that gap. Box is off. Then I try, but I've left it too late, and I've just done a pull, so I'm a bit cooked. And those three are off. I'm gonna start pulling. Then I got to bed here, I thought, no, I'm done. Pull back. Meanwhile, Rob's on his way. And he's pushing through, but I can't get on his wheel. Need a rest. So when I saw that shot, I thought, oh, he's made it. Should have pushed on. Anyway, I'm going to fall back to the group. And the gap's pretty small, it's only 7 seconds now. So there is hope. I wasn't targeting the alley sprint being a longer one, and the castle sprint was just a couple of K later and just shorter. And I figured people would be tired after the alley sprint, so that's one I would target. Chewy's putting in a bit of a pull, trying to close the gap down. Then our blokes start talking and shall we close it? Shall we catch? I'm starting to feel a bit better. I think it's just up here around the corner where D starts, or both AERO guys start taking a pull, and see if we can close that gap. Here we go. And we made it, and everyone can ease off. Alley sprint's at 16.1 kilometres, so we've only got a K and a bit to get our breath back and try and get dropped on the next sprint. As per Zifter's recon notes, here's the pink bridge, and that's where you should go, but not many people really take that hint and don't really go till about 100 metres into the sprint. I'm just trying to sit in, not going over 5.5 watt a kilogram too much, and just hang on to the back of the group. It was hard enough now to get some recovery, as the Castles Park sprint's at 18 kilometres, and now it's already 17.3. Groups come back together nicely. Still a nice big group. The sprint marker's right on, not this U-turn, but the one a couple hundred metres up the road. You got to go before that. You see people are starting to get keen, building up speed here. And off they go. Right on the 17.9 marker. I'm going to go now. Probably a little bit late. I'm still managing to hit 10s and 11s as we sprint through, and I've got a great lot of draft to ride through. And again, finish a little bit early. But again, we get second on the FTS at this point, assuming no one behind goes faster. And again, I'm like, wow, did I just do that? That's happy days. So that was a hard sprint, and now my legs are dead. I'm just trying to get some more recovery and hang on and not get dropped. Group all comes back together, and off we sail on to Irokazi. Now the next big test is of course the climb up to the Shisa Sprint. And even before you get there, there's this little bump and people start heading off into the distance, try and break things up. I'm trying to follow wheels, but not too closely. Fully expecting to get dropped on this climb, so I'm trying to stay near the front so I can fall back through the group as opposed to starting on the back and get dropped. I think because it's been a fairly hard race, and maybe this reverse way is not as steep as the other way, I think I'm able to hang on. And then you get to the top here, and there's a sprint marker. And you gotta go. So I stand up the sprint, and off we go, and then, nah. We're down again. That's too hard. And I run out of draft, and I run out of legs, and we virtually roll across the line. And we still managed to fall in for 12th, if only had to push a little bit harder. We might have got another point or two. So of course you get to this point and you just got to hold on to wheels if you want to hold on to the group. And we do, and it's a reduced group now. We're looking good to make the top 30. And further down at 32 Ks. You got people starting to push off the front again. So again, I'm just doing my best, putting out a bit of red here and there, just trying to hold wheels and not get dropped. And some of these guys are on a mission. And then next thing you know, you're climbing out of it. And it didn't take long for me to realise that I didn't have the legs. The DS was like, just stand up, use some different muscles. Stood up for a second, thought, no, those muscles are no good either. Now we're just pacing ourselves. Set my new target to try and catch Garlic in front. The rock catches up. I'm going to try and use his draft and my draft to see if we can catch up to Garlic, but Garlic's proving tricky to catch until we put a bit of an effort in on those little gradients. And then we've got 3. And then our next target is Yozza up the road. Now Yozza's a big strong rider and he's just moseying along between 1.9 and 2.8 by the look of it. And he has proven really hard to catch. Because if we can catch Yozza, we can get 30th position, which means extra points for finishing. It's 31 to 39 is, I think, 17 points, and if you get into 30, you get 18 points. So slowly we're reeling in. And then we do catch him. He seemed to slow down for a second and I tried to punch past, but he was having none of it. So now there's 4. And one more rider in front to catch, possibly, is Labont. There's only 2.5 kilometres to go. Maybe it's Labonti. So riding along a pretty steady pace. Just following wheels, and all of a sudden we get to about 1 kilometre to go. There's a tiny little gradient, and I didn't see it coming, I noticed it. And Yozza puts in a bit of a 4.5 watt a kilogram effort, and he just shoots off the front, and I thought he would come back, but he didn't. So I just continued riding about 3 because I didn't really feel like putting an effort in right there. Probably should have played the AERO with 700 to go, try and catch his wheel. But the rock came through, so I thought, oh, well, we're working together. And then there's the arch. I go to play my AERO, and I was on the wrong window, so I quickly flicked around and got the right push window, threw out the AERO, sped up, and then threw out the other AERO, trying to catch up the Yozza, going as hard as I could, couldn't even stand up. Thought I might have had him here, but he just had enough to hold me off. And we're finished. 40.3 kilometres later, and we are cooked. I pulled through for position 31. Well done to Aerobics. Henry, well done to Nathan in 2nd. Well done to Steve in 5th. Good riding, fellas. So we'll pull through and have a look at the numbers. See how we went. I was really curious. And then 5 seconds, 906 watts. That was that country sprint. I was super happy with that. So it's peak power of 930 watts there. But on this little graph, 1 second power, we cranked it up to 944 for a second, which is close to my best, which was in a free ride, which is a soft ride, and this is in a race. So yeah, super happy with how the sprints are coming along. And as you might have seen in the video, 14.7 watt a kilogram for a second. So yeah, very happy with how that's progressing. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you learned something to apply to your Zwift racing. If you're not a climber like me, save your watts and get in a sprint. Alrighty, catch you later. Bye.